Chapter 14, The Children of Ibrahim. They began taking turn reading the Torah, until they started getting sleepy. Please an elderly man walked down toward them, don't be alarmed. Hearing the voice, everyone jumped up and looked at Wanyenye Kevu. Wanyenye Kevu smiled, he can't be a threat, he didn't see anything. Jonathan said, now, etel it has to be a threat. They watched the old man and descended from the stair. No, I am not a threat, said the old man, he had to see if you were, before he approached. He was uncertain about that one when he started stabbing into the air with the fork. Pointing at Jonathan. Until you started reading the Torah. We also read it, but us confused at times. Jonathan shook his head, well, not another one with this OLASS shit. He's the one that snuck up on us, and asking us if we were a threat. The old man continued, no disrespect, young man. We saw you coming to town after. You touched the throat. The man pointed to some camera hidden through the place. These are CSK infrared camera, and they are placed through the city. We thought you would just pass on through, but when you came to this place, we worried for a bit. Anakata nor Wakatilian are never seen together, and we were baffled. Jom asked, Frot? Hold up. Oui. The old man walked down the steps, the front is the rundown dome that covers the city and yes, oui. Many stayed after the relocation, and a time passed, many of their children and their children's children left. It was just a handful of us for a while, but now it's just my children and myself. Come, let me introduce you to the rest. Et take them upstairs to the elevator. Wanyenye Kevu had never been on an elevator and had never been so high before. The elevator seemed to drop a bit before moving upward, creating butterfly in his stomach. In his mind, he count the floor and watched through the clear glass elevator doors. Jonathan looked at the old man pointing to Wanyenye Kevu. He hadn't been nowhere before, the old man said with a smile, n'était ravi. Raising his eyebrows, Jonathan said, you have never left the city at all. The old man shook his head and simply replied, no, he was born and raised right here in this city, my father and mother, and their mother and father. He will die here as well. Wanyenye Kevu interrupted them. How high does this machine go up? The old man log, 3,164 stories, but we share the entire 200th floor, the rest is empty. Wanyenye Kevu turned around, slowly counting the number on the elevator window, 165, 166. Jom grabs Wanyenye Kevu by the shoulder, pointing to the horizon. Don't think about the height. Look out at the beautiful sunset, the purple and orange sky, just beautiful. Looking beyond the city and the landscape. Yeah. Wanyenye Kevu start to speak when a bell ring, and they start looking around, Jom log, see, we here. They exited the elevator and entered a large white room. At the end of the room were three hallways, one to the right, one to the left, and one directly ahead of them. Standing there in amazement in the center of the room with all smiles stood sea people. This is we, said Jonathan with great enthusiasm and kept staring at one of the women standing there. Jom and Wanyenye Kevu looked at each other and raised their eyebrows and continued. How in the? Jonathan cocked himself before he cussed, but he continued, how did you manage to live here all these years with just a handful of YLL? Jom turned to Jonathan. How did we? Jonathan just smiled. Jom whispered to Wanyenye Kevu. This boy is acting strange. Wanyenye Kevu saw the young lady Jonathan kept staring at, well, she is beautiful. The old man walked out in front of them, these are my children, pointing to each one. This is Alpha Primate-3, Alpha Primate-4, Alpha Primate-5, Alpha Primate-6, Alpha Primate-7, Alpha Primate-8 and the little man is Alpha Prime 16-6, and I'm Alpha Primate-1. Jonathan snapped out of it and said, ouais. What? Alpha Prime? Jom and Wanyenye Kevu looked at him. What? Jonathan said and continued. Have you ever heard of Someone named Alpha Prime? Wanyenye que vu said, have you ever heard of Someon Named Wanyenye que vu? Jonathan said, but they sound like nomenclature to me, I don't care what you say. Shaking his head with a smile, Jom said, please forgive the rudeness, again. Et punched Jonathan in the shoulder, my name is Jom, this is my little brother Jonathan, and this is Orphrien Wanyenye que vu. Jonathan shook his head, but we call him Way. Wanyenye que vu smiled I noticed Jom had finally pronounced his name right. Jonathan walked toward Alpha Prime 8-7, I am John. Jom grabbed him by his collar and whispered in his ear. Bring your SS back here and act civilized. The you jest, Alpha Prime 16-6 said to them, why are you not Alpha or Beta or Pi? Excuse the little man, as always. Fied with question. The old man, Alpha Prime 8-1, said grabbing Alpha Prime 16-C by the hand, as. Been with us since his mother died a few years back. Please, there are many questions for all of us to ask, let's get some rest and talk in the morning. Walking towards the edge of the large room, do you prefer separate rooms or one room for all of you? Asked Alpha Prime 8-1. Please, one room for us all, we do not want to pull you out. Said Wanyenye que vu. Alpha Prime 8-1 held up his arms, we have the entire floor, in fact, the entire building, there's no way you could, you say, pull us out. They all logged. Entering an enormous room, there's nothing here, said Jonathan. Please stand within this white square, said Alpha Prime 8-1 and pointed down towards the square directly in front of the door's entrance. Et continued I started pressing button. In this room, we have the jungle. Within a second, the entire room looked exactly like the jungle. Et continued pressing the button as the scenery changed. Desert, New York, Miami, the Wild West, the South. Wanyenye que vu stopped him, detest it, the South. The view reminded him of home. Walking outside the square, he touched the trees and bush, then turned around with a smile toward Jom and Jonathan. If it's okay with you too, and if y'all don't mind me enjoying a little taste of home, he said, thinking, I took a deep breath, it's been a while, I guess I'm homesick. No problem, said Jom, we need to look after the horse before we call it a night, Tug. Please, by all means, please bring them up, said Alpha Prime 8-1. Wanyenye que vu had a funny feeling in his stomach, Jonathan logged at Wanyenye que vu, seeing that he wanted nothing to do with that elevator again, ILL go, my frien. Wanyenye que vu, raising his eyebrows, whispered, my frien, who is he? I looked at Jom, they both smiled. Alpha Prime 8-3 and Alpha Prime 8-4 simultaneously shouted, we will go help you. Alpha Prime 8-1 smiled, they haven't seen any animal other than the ones we created within here. Alpha Prime 8-4, eager to retrieve the horse, almost knocked down Jom, running towards the elevator and pushed the button. Alpha Prime 8-3 said to Alpha Prime 8-4, be careful, you almost knocked him over. He looked at Jom, so sorry, she really loves horse. Is it alright? Jonathan quickly replied, yeah, of course, it's okay. Standing in the elevator, Alpha Prime 8-4 looked at Jom, I'm sorry. As she demanded to Jonathan, let's go. As the elevator closed, Alpha Prime 8-6 asked Jom and Wanyenye que vu, do you want a tent or a cabin? I can even place a castle in here, handing Jom a remote, this is a real-time emulator, set the perimeter and time here, or you can set it to dissolve or even switch. The conversation was too much for Wanyenye que vu as Jom started talking about what Wanyenye que vu calls the tech talk. Wanyenye que vu walked toward Alpha Prime 8-1, Alpha Prime 8-5, and little Alpha Prime 16-6, we will be out of your hair first thing in the morning, I just wanted to thank you for the hospitality. Alpha Prime 8-1 said, no problem, we would like to ask a favor of you. Wanyenye que vu said, sure, what is it? Alpha Prime 8-1 said, take my children with you. Shocked, Wanyenye que vu said, why? He took you up here. Alpha Prime 8-1 replied, I'm 87 years old, and I'm just too old, and they need to live their life a normal it can get for them. This is not a life to live. He had to get all, to release why my great grandfather refused to join the otter when they left. My children are mentally slow by at least 10 years, or how should he put it? They are younger than they are. They are behind in everything. He don't have long, and you want them to get away from here and have a normal life, but with someone safe and who won't take advantage of them. Wanyene que vu scratched he said, I'm heading west to Arizona, and computants are not welcome, or shall he say, not expected to live that way. It's dangerous, and he don't see how they can make it with me or anyone else at that. Alpha Primate -1 replié, he can change their cloth to be a close to Wakatilian a possible, and you can give them names, we have all kind of self-defense instruments, applications, and equipment, all you need to say is that they are mentally ill children. Wanyene que vu interrupted, they are not really mentally ill, are they? He cannot go around lying, my friend. Alpha Primate -1 interrupted Wanyene que vu, you will not be lying for in the real world, when it comes to reasoning, problem solving, decision making, and their cognitive skill they are lacking outside these walls. They would make it if the world were a computer, we bought. No, that is not so. That is a mental disability to me, because their anti-world has been virtual, plus I'm dying and need your help too. Give my children a real life. Grabbing Wanyene que vu by the shoulder, I have a good feeling about you, my friend. Smiling Wanyene que vu said, in that case, it would be my pleasure. But now I need to ask you for a favor. Alpha Primate -1 replié, sur, how can he help you? Wanyene que vu said in a reassuring voice. You said you have Torah, I need one for everyone, let's say 9 smaller ones, so we don't have to keep passing mine around. Alpha Primate -1 smiled out of relief. That is all not even a problem. After everyone finally settled in for the night, Wanyene que vu talked about the old man's request. He did not speak to Jom or Jonathan about it but prayed to about 4 hours before he fell asleep. Confused and worried about the situation yet still in dread of meal from his destination now, es no longer alone but has 8 additional people, and neter one is Wakatilian. Here is, with the people his people are trying to avoid. What to name these people? Can they defend themselves? What will the Wakatilian nation think of them? Question just flowed through Wanyene que vu and I finally fell asleep. Hear a loud voice, behold, your most trustworthy warriors, who shall stand by your side and never forsake you, your army, your warriors of Sabaoth. Wanyene que vu saw at least 50 Wakatilian warriors dressed in war paint and ready for battle. Their names were called out as the voice introduced them. Jom, War Chief, Jonathan and Elisha, Intelligence and Tech Support Warriors. Not noticing at first, he looked again. Elisha was Alpha Primate -6. Wanyene que vu smiled. The voice continued, Elia, asked Scout, it was Alpha Primate -3. The names and face continued. Grace, Mercy, and Joy, Medical, Surveillance Warriors, and Great Inter, it was the Alpha Prime Doctor. The last names were called, and Little Alpha Prime 18-6 stood. Daniel, the Prophet of Sabaoth, and OBE, a great warrior of Sabaoth Wanyene que vu said, OBE? You have never seen his face before, the voice said, you will, very soon. Wanyene que vu said to himself I woke from sleep, and he steered the voice a clear Awane. Was asleep. The voice was of Mlezi, the messenger of Sabaoth. There will be 12, but for now, you must go to Cabalo Lake. Everyone was still asleep in the digital cabin that Jonathan had made for them. Walking outside to the hologram of Louisiana, Wanyene que vu said to himself, it look just like home, but where are the mosquitoes? Where's the smell of the morning dew? Where's the early morning cool breeze? I walked around for a minute and observed the rest of the scenery, it's beautiful, but this is just an illusion of the truth. Grabbing his pen and pad, he wrote, can you explain? To all the scientists, can you explain? Tell me how this world came to be? Telling me about this Big Bang theory. That is silly, saying we all came from a past that evolved into man. You talk like a fool, no matter how many years you went to school. Some things you have done, I totally disagree. I stand here, right here, now with the one, the song. And is with me. A copy of the original. Not bad, if I say so myself. Took century to duplicate, still didn't get it right, then you say that you don't believe in God. Can you explain? To this, I do agree. You have gone astray. You are trying to change the planet's destiny. Cloning of people and animal, you'll have your day. Is it not right? Can you explain? Chemical warfare to help win wars, and destroy life. While you fight, you want to explain life. Tell us how to live alone life, just to destroy life. Can you explain? What kind of fool are you? A lot of things you're always trying to explain. Explain this, you said life was created by a single cell. If that is the case, tell me, who gave life to that cell? Can you explain? How long will it take for you to believe? When you reach that place called? See the face of your maker, when it's too late. Yes, you might be able to predict the weather. But you're not always right. You say it's going to be sunny today, but look outside. Do you see the rain? Can you explain? Do you feel the pain? The wrath of the Almighty, I think you're the one going insane. Trying to explain. Exiting the room into the hallway, and noticed Alpha Primate-1 and all his children were there dressed like Wakatilian. Wanyene que vu logged for a bit, then smiled I fixed their clothing, now, you look like Wakatilian. Then he told them all to stand in a line by their edges. Just then, Jom and Jonathan walked in on them. Wanyene que vu, you ready to go? Jom said. Wanyene que vu held up a finger, one moment, please, since we all are here, please let's bow our head in prayer. Everyone stopped and bowed their head a Wanyene que vu smiled again, talked about his dream, and began praying. Sabaoth, please hear a prayer from your humble servant. We are here to take upon a journey in your holy and blessed name. Here we stand, some confused and unlearned, but we know we shall stand through faith in you. We trust in Mshika, whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiven of sin. Here stand. Walking toward Alpha Prime, 8-1, and his children, he took out a small bottle of oil that he had blessed and placed some on his hand and rubbed them together, et puis sent on Alpha Prime 8-3's forehead. Alpha Prime 8-3, now your name is Elia. Et continued to each one of the children of Alpha Prime 8-1. Alpha Prime 8-4, your name is now Grace. Alpha Prime 8-5, your name is now Mercy. Alpha Prime 8-6, your name is now Elisha. Alpha Prime 8-7, your name is now Joy. Smiling from your 2 year, little Alpha Prime 16-6 said, my turn. Wanyene que vu smiled back at Alpha Prime 16-6. Yes, Alpha Prime 18-6, your name is now Daniel, not only a warrior, you shall be a prophet for the Most High. Wanyene que vu then turn to Alpha Prime 8-1, for this is the day you have been waiting for so long to see, and Sabaoth has seen your wrath, and he is pleased to take your children because now they are his, and they shall be great in his name. He grabbed his bottle of oil and blessed Alpha Prime 8-1, Alpha Prime 8-1 from this moment forward, you shall be called Ibrahim. He walked towards the 2 brothers and asked Jom to pour the oil on his hand. Will you do me the honor? I looked into Jom's eyes and smiled. Jom poured the oil into his hand, and then placed each hand on the brothers, warriors and leader for Sabaoth. He concluded his prayer I hugged Daniel, in your holy name, Amen. Looking at everyone, he said, you finish a prayer by saying Amen or Selah, and everyone said, Amen. Jom and Jonathan were in a bit of shock as they pulled Wanyene que vu to the side. Jom said, these people can't fight, they're like children, they will die or get scared at the first sight of trouble. Wanyene que vu smiled and said to Jom, these children, you call them, will be great and powerful warriors of the Almighty, alongside you two in battle. Jom had a puzzled look on his face at what Wanyene que vu had just said. Jonathan was mad and said out loud, shit. I mean damn, hell. Shaking his head, he said. Look. Wanyene que vu and Jom looked toward Jonathan. What? Holding up his middle finger and smiling, Jonathan continued, fuck you. No, really. Listen, Alpha Primate Dash, Imin, Elisha, whatever your damn name is. I'm glad you guys changed your names because I wasn't going to call you 16-9 or whatever your names were, and was says dash anyway, couldn't you have a point instead? You know, point 3, Buno, you'll got a damn dash. Wanyenye que vu looked at Jonathan and asked. Have I not shown you have a gift? You too shall receive a gift, and it will be from Sabaoth, trust me when I say HS blessed or union, and it will serve a great purpose. Jonathan calmed down, for he did trust Wanyenye que vu, and deep down, he wanted to know Sabaoth. Jonathan then pointed at Elisha, okay, he will hang with him, we stayed up pretty late last night, and we talked about some of the technology day. À dire, we can take some along with us, plus maybe knows what to do with some of the other stuff we got off of our dead friends. Jom went back over to Elisha and asked about some of the instruments and equipment. But he held the bag up, I'm way ahead of you. Plus, a few extra. Jom and Wanyenye que vu walked off to discuss details while Jonathan and Elisha went over what to bring along with them. After their lengthy discussion, Jom and Wanyenye que vu joined the rest and gathered their belonging and personal item. They finally organized their things, placed them on the horse, and were ready to enter the elevator. Merci pushed the button, and the doors opened. ILL hold your hand so you won't be afraid, said Grace to Wanyenye que vu. Jonathan looked at Joy and nervously said. I just want to hold your hand. Joy smiled, sure. Ibrahim walked up to Wanyenye que vu with tears in his eyes, hugged him, and whispered in his ear. He never knew of a God until now, the very first time he have ever asked God for anything was a few weeks back, and he asked him to bring a man of God to come to take my children to give them a life with him. Et HS j'y vends me juste d'être trop. You, thank you. After the goodbye, hug, kiss, and crying, they hurried down the elevator. On succeed, everyone got on a horse. Where's my horse? Said Daniel. Wanyenye que vu said. You'll read with me little man. Wanyenye que vu then turned to Jonathan, see, there was a reason why we had this extra horse, now, we need to go to Caballo Lake. Pulling out one of his new toys, Jonathan said, Caballo Lake is du north, however, Tucson is west. Wanyenye que vu said, he was told we need to go there first. Jom asked, told? Told by whom? Wanyenye que vu said, he will explain later. Jonathan shook his head, everything will always be explained later with this man. They headed north, Wanyenye que vu and Jom led the group, followed in pair by Mercy and Joy, then Elia and Grace and Jonathan and Elisha, who carried the rear. Jonathan and Elisha were doing more talking about technology than anything else along the way. Jom had never seen his brother talk to anyone so much other than himself. I looked back at his brother. Et smiled, turning to Wanyenye que vu, I've never seen Jonathan so serious with anyone before beside me. Wanyenye que vu replied. He found himself a little brother, Jom said. I guess so. 3 hours into their journey, they heard a large and loud explosion that shook the ground behind them. Turning around, the children started crying, for they could see that their father had destroyed the entire city and they saw building falling from the sky. Standing there while the children of Ibrahim cried, Wanyenye que vu, Jom, and Jonathan didn't say a word until they were ready to move on. They had traveled 4 miles before anyone said anything, he always said that he never wanted us to live like them, said Grace. He even told me one time you can camouflage Ali, but it will always be Ali, and he wanted us to see what the truth was. They continued to talk amongst themselves before Jonathan realized they hadn't eaten all day. Less than a mile from Caballo Lake, Jonathan complained, we have been traveling all day now, and haven't eaten a thing. Wanyenye que vu his mind wasn't on what Jonathan had said, for he started thinking about home. He don't have any idea why people stay in such a place. Back home, there's plenty of trees, grass, rivers, and lake, and there's always something you can eat pretty much by walking down a trail. You'll see something to eat you don't always have. Jonathan interrupted him, fuck that shit, man. I'm so fucking hungry now, right now, there's always wild rabbit or snack in this bar, if nothing else. Jom stopped his horse and pointed to the north, just under a mile is Caballo Lake. If it hasn't dry up, we can stop there and rest a bit. Do your asses need to stop being a rude, crying asses little bitch? What happened to that Jonathan is back at Las Cruz? You want him? Pointing at Jonathan, Jom continued, note this ashol. Wanyenie que vu smiled at Jom as the rest looked at them with confusion, Jonathan doesn't bother me, ici a great at his stupidity. Already embarrassed by his brother, Jonathan got offended by what Wanyenie que vu had said. My brother can call me stupid, but he don't know you well enough for you to be calling me stupid motherfucker. Wanyenie que vu climbed off his horse and winked his eye at Jom. If it walks like a duck, quack like a duck, it must be what? A duck. You talk stupid with your full mouth and walk around looking stupid, so you must be what? Stupid. Now furious at Wanyenie que vu, Jonathan jump off his horse, charge at him with all his might, and throws a punch. Wanyenie que vu dodged his punch, and Jonathan fell to the ground. Wanyenie que vu taunted him, never use all of your body weight to punch someone, and remember that there is something called gravity. Jumping up, Jonathan brushed himself and ran at Wanyenie que vu. Wanyenie que vu took one step to the right and pushed Jonathan lightly, and he fell flat on his face. Your center of gravity is off. Jonathan grabs a stick lying on the ground. Shoulder should never tell a person when or where you are going to attack. Wanyenie que vu said. Jonathan was about to swing. Right, now left, right, right. Wanyenie que vu started calling out which side he would attack from, and Jonathan stopped and switched, but he was calling it out I was about to attack. Jonathan threw the stick down. I'm not stupid, ashol. Wanyenie que vu log, no, you're a dumb. They all log. Jom then took Jonathan by the shoulder. Grow up, little brother is all I'm asking. We must take care of our new family, and you're always complaining, stop it. Pointing at Ibrahim's children. No, Ibrahim's family depend on us to take them some years off. We have a responsibility to take care of them, like he have a responsibility to take care of you. Wanyenie que vu smiled and excused himself, you guys gone ahead, I'll meet you at the lake. He will do the hunting this time, why don't I'll finally go through the rest of the loot we got of the dead men and see what we can use, cause that B890 was something else. How do the snack taste out here? I'm still tired of rabbit. Walking towards the field, he continued, by the way, let's not use that cube thing, let's take advantage of the lake and the cool wind that is out tonight. Jom pointed out to Wanyenie que vu by shooting, Caballo Lake is a lake. Remember, we have to be extra careful now because animal need water too. We have snack, scorpion, and things like that can kill us while sleeping. Digging through the bag, he continued, but Wanyenie que vu was long gone. Oh, ici those men have their mattress, we will use this tonight. Turning and yelling at Jonathan, hey, Jonathan, charge the B890 up when we get there, and no telling, if we will need it again. Once they arrived at the lake, Elia, the eldest son of Ibrahim, approached Jom, we are not totally useful, let us help. And we have plenty of supply ourselves. Apologetically, Jom said, no, I'm sorry, that is not what it is. We just so used to being the three of us, please join an needed. A matter of fact, prep this mattress in a circle, three in the middle for your sisters and little Daniel, and leave the rest for us, outside of them. Wanyenie que vu travel a few yards and sees a wolf, not knowing if it was Mlezi or not, et hesitantly says, Mlezi? The wolf looked at him and ran away. This is coyote territory. Wanyenie que vu said I turned around, and there was Mlezi. A visitor shall come to see you soon, don't be afraid, for he is a servant of Sabaoth, just as you are, not only a servant but a prophet, therefore respect him, for Mshika talked him. Scratching the tiny hair was growing on his face. Wanyenie que vu said, I'm not afraid of no man, why would he be afraid? Wanyenie que vu blinked, and Mlezi smiled and then disappeared, but he still heard his voice. He prepared a feast for you near the southernmost part of the lake. You'll see it by the big rock. Wanyenie que vu walks to the edge of the lake, and there, before his eyes, are 4 large baskets. He looked inside of them, and indeed it was a feast. He carefully grabs the basket and meet up with the rest of his party. Where in the hell did you get that shit from? Jom said in excitement, you need to be the only one eating from now on. Wanyenye que vu log. The ancient Mfariji, messenger of Sabaoth, Mlezi. How many matres do we have, asked Wanyenye que vu, looking at Jom, I'll tell you all about Mlezi while we eat. Still, slightly frustrated, Hirsomeon say, 8. It was Jonathan sarcastically speaking. Wanyenye que vu loged, lead them down on the ground, and let's start blowing them up, we'll need all of them. Jonathan ran, grabbed one from the circle, who's dumb, now? Seriously, blow them up. Used in ancient times, ici. Grabbing a small stainless steel square frame. Épluched a black button and a twin-sized matre that resembled a sleeping bag, was floating 3 feet above the ground. Wanyenye que vu started to speak, but Jonathan said, we know. We know. Sabaoth isable. Jonathan grabs another one, pointing to the button, this color represents the size you want. Black is twin, blue is full, pink is queen, and red is king size. Then he flipped it over. This is for a guess, you might say super size. Wanyenye que vu took the device. Black is super size, pushing the black button. No. No, black is twin, super size is the only button on the bottom. Jom said, but it was too late. Wanyenye que vu had realized the device, and a bed appeared, et logged, good. Jom took the first matre and inflated it, then gave one to the rest. Here you go, pick the size you want for you, and little Daniel can share one. They chose the super size mattress that Wanyenye que vu had accidentally inflated at their table, they surrounded it and ate. The children of Ibrahim looked at each other with a puzzled look on their face, for they didn't see anything familiar in the basket, and the eldest brother spoke up, the only thing we recognize is the silverware, what is this? Jonathan jumped up. What is it? It's authentic food, not that past shit you guys serve. Fia un piece plata I called out the meal. You got your mashed potato with gravy sauce, licking his finger from the sauce that dripped onto his finger I continued. You got roasted chicken with potato, carrots, and peas and corn on the cob with butte, oh boy I haven't seen or tasted a meal like this since he was. Jom started to speak, but tears rushed from his eyes. This is, taking a deep breath. This is our last meal as a family, and it tastes just like our mother is cooking. Jonathan couldn't remember, but he started crying a well. Jom stopped crying, but the tears continued to flow from his eyes. There's no way, he can't see any possible, way that you could have gotten a meal like this and in the middle of the desert? Wanyenye que vu was speaking at first, for he did not know that the meal was crucial to the brothers, he didn't know that, but whatever Sabaoth has for us, we must do. You were just stranger to me, Anakata, at that, and me being alone wakatilian. It remain me of a profane act. Jom interrupted, what is act? A city? Wanyenye que vu said, no, it's a book in the Torah wiping the tears from his eyes. Anyway, this book is about a man named Saul, who is fighting a battle between his brothers, about who is Rigteu and who is not because of how they were born. Back then, it was between Jews and Gentiles. Now, it's us. I am convinced. We are two journey together, we are brothers and sisters, we are truly a family in Sabaoth. Having a limp in his throat, et to blow out a hard breath, look at everyone, and briefly explain to them about Yael, Mlezi, and Mshika and the many things that have been happening to them. How they may were not a mere coincidence. He briefly explained the Torah and quickly said, while looking at Jom and Jonathan, you know, we got to start reading the Torah all over again, because of our new family. Elia insisted they didn't, but Jom and Jonathan looked at him, no, let's start from the beginning.